Father, what a wonderful gift it is to be able to be with you, Father, and that you desire to be with us. Father, help us not to take every breath that we have. Father, every step that we take, Lord. Help us not to take these things for granted, Lord. These moments that we have to be with you, Father, that you desire to be with us. Father, thank you for every soul in this place. Father, thank you for this worship team who has ushered us into your presence. Thank you for the gift of music and song. And Father, thank you for the opportunity to lift our hearts and souls to you. We bless your name, Lord. You're worthy. You're worthy, Lord. You're worthy, Lord. You're worthy, Lord. Amen. 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 I'm not used to being introduced. And then I kind of laughed at it because it's like, man, that sounds good. and then as I'm here, it's like, oh yeah, you wrote that introduction. It's like, I feel like I worked in about 50 different places when I hear it like that. It's like, man, all the places over 17 years, can you keep a job, brother? But God is good, amen? Amen. God is good. And thank you for just welcoming me here. I want to also thank your pastor, my friend, my brother, Pastor Lawrence Haskett, for giving me this opportunity. Just really grateful. I've actually been in you all's building a couple of times for some of the men's work that I participate with your Pastor Ron. And I'm also grateful to see my brother, Chris Smith, over here. He gave me a bear hug when I came in. That's how I knew I was welcome. It's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place. I appreciate the spirit I feel, both of the Spirit of the Lord here, but also your spirit. Thank you. Thank you. So I come to you this morning as a man. I guess I can still say young man, although I don't feel quite as young as I used to feel. And I come with doubts. I come with doubts. Most of my doubts are about me, but if I'm honest, sometimes I wonder whether or not God's going to come through this time. So you've come through over here, and you've come through over there, and when we went through this thing, Lord, you came through, and you came through on this other situation, but this thing I'm facing now. I know what your track record has been in my life. I know what your track record has been in the life of the people that I love. But I still, if I'm honest, I still wonder sometimes, are you going to do it again? And then not only, again, sometimes about the Lord, but also family, about myself. So even if God is, and I believe that he is, all that he says he is, all that the scriptures give testimony to, even as I believe that those things are true, God, how is it that you will do these things through me? Lord, no, this person over here is extra special. This person over here has got it going on. This person over here, look at all this education they have. Look how gifted you've made them. But you also planned and desire to use and work in and through me? And so I don't know, family. I don't know sometimes. The most recent frustration, though in the scheme of things, you all, I want to just acknowledge this is not a terrible thing. Right now, we're not going through any significant health crisis. Okay? For the most part, we're fat and getting fatter. Amen. So we eating. Right? Bills are paid. Amen. Amen. But this is house that we want. We got a place, and we rented it out, and we moved into this place over a year ago now, thinking that we would be able to own it. And though it feels again, it's not small to me, but again, in the scheme of things, right? It's people that are in our world right now who are without clean water, who've lost loved ones. In the scheme of things, I just want to acknowledge to you all that I know that it's not as big, but it feels big to me. All right. I went to one mortgage company and they stretched us out for about 3-4 months and then eventually said, oh, we got to start over. Just so frustrated. We moved on from them, went to somebody else. He told us quickly that he couldn't work with us. And that was disappointing, but at least we knew, right? It wasn't 3 or 4 months of wondering and waiting. Moved on to somebody else. And now it's been about 5 months with them. And they asked for more documentation. And they asked for more documentation. And they asked for more documentation. And probably about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, after I had sent them the 11 items that they had already requested, she sent me an email that wanted 7 more items. And my heart sank. I was like, Lord, why would you have me move my family into this house that none of us likes? We want to be here because we think it might change our financial future. And I don't say it to my children too much that I don't like it, because they remind me all the time that they don't like it. I'm not trying to reinforce this narrative that I hear in my house sometimes. My 4 and 6-year-old and my 13-year-old saying, Daddy, can we go back to where we were? But I said, Lord, I felt like this is what you were trying to do for us. This is what I thought you were trying to do. So Lord, are you going to do it again? And will you do it again for me? Will you do it again in me, through me, for my family? Turn your Bibles with me to Psalm chapter 8. The Holy Spirit reminds us, family, of how we are seen by God. In spite of how I may see myself, in spite of how you may see yourself, there is a way that God sees us, family, that is different, that is special, that is worthy. Is it the habit of our congregation, this congregation, to stand as we read? Can we do that? We'll read Psalm 8 together. I'm reading for the New International Version. I'll read the entire psalm into our hearing. O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens. From the lips of children and infants, you have ordained praise. Because of your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place. What is man that you are mindful of him? The Son of Man that you care for him. You have made him a little lower than the heavenly beings and crowned him with glory and honor. You made him ruler over the works of your hands. You put everything under his feet, all flocks and herds, and the beasts of the field, and the birds of the air, and the fish of the sea, all that swim the paths of the seas. O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. In all the earth. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading and the hearing of his word. Please be seated. And so I identify a lot, you all, even as we read a psalm like this, I identify with Moses. When I was about 7, 8 years old, I gave my life to the Lord. And I remember very vividly, my father worked for an airline that no longer exists called Eastern Airlines. Some of you all may remember it. And we had travel privileges. So every now and again, we'd fly places. And back during that time, it was the custom to kind of dress up in a suit. And so my dad would have on his suit, my mom would have on a nice dress or an outfit, and then me and my brothers, just the two of us, we would be suited up. 6, 7, and 8 years old, 6 years old, suited up, looking nice, I clip on bow ties. And because we flew standby, sometimes we separated from our parents. So our parents would sit in one location, we sit somewhere else. And because it wasn't a whole lot of black folks flying, the white folk asked questions. Who are you? Who is your father? What does your daddy do? And my parents had prepared us to answer these questions because they knew that folks were going to ask. And so we would sit there and we would try and give our prepared answers the best way we could, but we always said more than they expected us to say. In this particular time, I remember a man sitting next to me, and I don't know why he asked me these questions, but he wanted to know. He said, who is your hero? And I remember very vividly, without hesitation, I said Martin Luther King Jr. and Moses. And he looked at me, I just remember the look on his eyes like, what? And he pulled my parents aside at the end of the flight. He wanted to find them. And it wasn't a whole lot of black folks on the flight, so he could find my parents. Found my mom, found my dad. I just want to tell you, I've never met a young man who, when I asked him that question, ever said the answers that your son said. And for me, I didn't understand what that was all about. I just gave him the answer that I had in my head. But as I've gotten older, family, I feel like Moses and I suffer from a similar kind of complex. When Moses stands before that burning bush, family, and God gives him a call and says, I'm going to send you back to the place where you ran from. You got to go back that way. He says, who am I that you would send me to Pharaoh into the nation of Israel to deliver the Israelites? Anybody ever ask that question of yourself? Who am I? Who am I, Lord, to get this promotion? Lord, who am I that you have put me in this place where I have to face this crisis? Lord, who am I that we're going through the things that we have to go through as a family? Lord, who am I that these are the challenges that you put before me or put before us, put before my team? What is this, Lord? Who am I? Who am I? That this is what you've done. And so, family, Psalm 8 reminds us, when we get to the place where we ask the question, what is man that you are mindful of him? The Son of Man that you care for him? God's answer is, do you know? Do you know what you're worth? Do you know who you are? Do you know how I've made you? Do you know how I've created you and shaped you and formed you? If you don't know, look here in verse number 5. The psalmist says, God, you have made him a little lower. You've made her a little lower than the heavenly beings. You've crowned him, you've crowned her with glory and honor. Family, who wears crowns? Kings and queens wear crowns. Crowns are not given to paupers or beggars. They're given to royalty. This is who God has made us. This is who he has made you. This is who he has made me. And so your answer, when you ask yourself that question, who am I? Remember that this is what God has said about you. You mean even though I failed out of school? Yes. Yes, you still a king. You still a queen. You mean even though I've been through some terrible abuse? Oh, that person that abused you didn't know what we know, what the scripture says. They didn't understand. But what God has said is real. You are a king. You are a queen. You mean even though I've fallen so many times, I've struggled as much as I have, even though I'm divorced, even though I'm unemployed, who am I, Lord? Who am I? And the comparison, you all, the comparison that is made here in the scripture is to the sun, the moon, the heavens, that which God has arrayed in his sky. And I have always been a lover of the stars. I remember my senior year in high school, my physics professor had us go and look at various constellations. We had to do some calculations for the constellations, but we looked at the Pleiades, and these series of 3 stars that when the sky is dark, you can see in the distance. And then there's a North Star that you can see that helps guide people to the places they need to go. But in Chicago, all these doggone street lights that are everywhere. You can't see but 1 or 2 stars. So in the suburbs of Atlanta, I can see maybe 3, 4, or 5 stars. But if you've ever gone out a little further, where you don't have as many street lights, every now and again my family and I have a chance to go out towards Fox River, towards out towards Ottawa in the southwest. It's a little less street lights out there. And if it's a dark night and a clear night, the moon is not out, it's not just 1 or 2 stars, you know. There are thousands. Some of them millions of miles away, some of them millions of light years away. And when God created them, it says, almost as an afterthought, he created the stars also. Mama and them made the ham, they made some macaroni and cheese, they made some sweet potatoes. She made some green beans also. Come on now. It's like, Lord. And I look at these stars, and the psalmist looks at these stars. You know, he didn't have any street lights. And the moon. And he said, I asked, what is man? What is man? That you even keep him in your mind. And so I don't know what it is the Lord is sending you to, family, but he's sending you his royalty. He compares you to the stars in the heavens. He sends you his royalty. He's crowned you with glory Scripture says in another place that he does not share his glory with another. But then he also says if we suffer with him, we will reign with him. And that there's a glory that is awaiting us that does not compare with the sufferings that we must endure now. There's a glory that is coming. So family, there is a glory that he has all to himself, that he keeps for him. And he does not share it, but there's another aspect of who he is that he delights to share. And that of who he is and how he's built for himself. That he gives to us, to me, to you. And he just doesn't give it to you, he crowns us with it. Makes a show of it. He doesn't kind of sneak and give you this gift. He puts it on you in front of everybody. A coronation for my sons and for my daughters. And family, this coronation prepares us for what? Why would God go through all of this trouble? Share himself in this special way with us. Why would he do such a thing? He is mindful of us. He has made us royalty. The psalmist lets us know. You made him, you made her ruler over the works of your hands. You put everything under his feet. All flocks and herds and the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea. The psalmist is pointing out 3 different aspects of what God has created, family. Can you see it? The flocks and the herds of that of the ground, of the field. Amen? Yeah. All right. The birds of the air, so that which is above us, right? The fish of the sea, that which is below us. Amen? Amen. There is no place on this green earth where God has not desired for us to show forth his glory and his stewardship over all of the earth, family. Over all of the earth. We are those that he has set in place to help steward, rule, manage his world. It's not a coronation for you to sit somewhere with a scepter in hand and give out all the rules and decrees and the orders for everybody else to be working and serving. This decree, this rule, this way that God has established is that we ourselves as kings and queens would serve each other and this world to the glory of God the Father on high. That we would live in such a way, the scriptures say, that Jesus says later, that we, men, would see our good works and do what? Glorify our Father, which is in heaven. I don't know if you believe me. Turn to your Bibles to Genesis. The words of Psalm 8 hearken back to the very beginning. In Genesis chapter 1. Look at verse 26. After God has created so much of this world and his order, his creation, has established it the way he thought that it ought to be. He said in verse 26, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. Let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. I don't look at art as much as I'd like to, but every now and again I'll get a chance to go somewhere like the Art Institute or some nice museum. Sometimes it's art that my daughter has made, or sometimes it's art that I've seen made from people around me. And you'll look at what they've created and you'll say, man, that is so beautiful. I don't even know exactly how it is you were able to make this beautiful thing. And so there are this image I have in my mind of something like the Mona Lisa or Van Gogh, right? Or Romar Bearden in print, right? These beautiful, colorful, wonderful pictures. And the time and the craftsmanship that someone has done to establish these beautiful framed images. And you stand in awe, watching, looking at what has been created, what has been made. And there's a sense, honestly, for me, where it's like, if my kids are nearby, now I have not taken my kids to any of these museums, but I can imagine, especially my younger ones, don't you get nowhere close to it. Stand back. Now, of course, my oldest, I trust her. She loves art. She can get closer. But them little ones, we can't afford none in here. You stay way back. And to admire it, and to see it, and to see its beauty, and to see how it's been made. What if an artist were there? If the person who had made the piece of art, I could envision myself walking up to that person and being like, dude, you got it going on. That is so dope. Like, that is, man, how did you do that? And to have the Creator look at his creation and say, oh, here's a paintbrush. And to put it in my hand and say, I'm still working on it. I want you to come and create with me. Man, I don't know nothing about no painting. You sure you want a paintbrush in my hand? Oh no, I can show you. I can teach you. It may not look exactly what it is I've done, but I know that you're going to offer me up your best. Come and paint with me. Family, God has crowned us with glory and honor and majesty. He has crowned us. He's the King of Kings. Who are these kings that he is king over? He's king over us. He is the King of Kings. He is the Lord of Lords. He is. And he's done this masterful work in creation. And he said, man, come on. Come on with me. Fellow kings, fellow queens, come on with me. Come help make this world into the place where it's supposed to be. Show folks how to love right. Show folks that you can be patient in the midst of difficulty. Show them you can get cut off in traffic without cursing somebody out in front of them. Show them it's possible. Show them you don't have to have everything you think you're supposed to have and you can still have a happy life. Show them it's possible. Show them how you can smile even though your tires on flat, or maybe the boot man came and put a boot on your car, that you can still smile. Show them. No, you're not happy about everything that's happening, but we have been crowned. We've been crowned with glory and with honor by our King. And he has invited us to serve with him. Glory to God. And so that's what Moses needed to hear, family. And in God's way, it's kind of what he said to Moses. Moses asked, "Who am I?" And God shared with him a little bit about that. He said, "Well, tell me about me. I still want to remember now, because you remember I told you at the beginning, sometimes my doubts are about me and sometimes they're about God. God, now the last time I was in Egypt, things didn't work out so good. And you're going to send me back over there?" Now, I tried to stop my Israelite brothers from fighting one another, right? Because the day before I had gone over there and well, you know what the story was. Well, I don't have to tell you again, do I? About how I killed that man? I killed a man because he was beating on one of my brothers, and I didn't like it. And I don't know if I meant to kill him, but he did now. And the next day, I thought that my brothers would see that I had their back. And so when I went to them and I saw them fighting one another, I told them, "Man, y'all stop." And the man looked at me and said, "You gonna kill me like you did that Egyptian?" I had to get up out of there. "Lord, that's where you're gonna send me back?" They've already let me know that this is not who they want to listen to. They're not interested in listening to me. So if you're gonna send me, I need to make sure that I can let them know who it is that has sent me. I need to make sure that I can tell them. So my oldest, who's 13, sometimes me and Nicole, we might go to the store or go walk in somewhere, maybe just upstairs, and she's downstairs with her siblings. And y'all know how big sisters can be sometimes. I need you to do what I said. And I heard my 4-year-old today. "You're not the boss of me." And there was a part of me that was like, "That's right, man, you tough." But my 13-year-old, she has a lot of sense. And she tells those kids some good things. And sometimes she wants them to listen to her. And sometimes she will say, "I know you're not going to hear me, but Daddy said." Mommy said. Amen? Amen. Moses found himself in a place where he was talking to his siblings. That's right. "Lord, who am I? Who am I?" Some of y'all are bosses. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You got some people on your job that you go to and you want to say something to them and they do not want to listen to you. But you have to know, people of God, kings and queens, we got to know. We got to know who sent us. And we got to know what he sent us for. We got to know how he has sent us. He sent us as royalty. But we want to know that when we've been sent to that difficult task. Listen, you may not want to listen to me, but Daddy said. Daddy said. Moses said, who am I going to say? Send me. Who am I going to say? I am. I am. That's what you tell them. I am that I am. Tell them. That's who sent you. I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Tell them. And family, that phrase has changed my life. In the most doubtful times of my life, when I've wondered, is this going to work out? Lord, are you going to help us get this house? Will this be? And he doesn't answer my question. I wish he would just go ahead and tell me yes. That's what I really want him to do, is just go ahead and tell me it's going to work out. Yes. That's what I want. But he doesn't answer my question. What he says instead is, you're not sure whether that will be, but what you need to always keep in mind is that even if that is not, I am. I am. I'm not sure what's going on with my children, Lord. I don't know what's happening with my kids. I wish I could tell you that God's going to just drop in your spirit this clarity and this confidence that everything's going to be all right. It don't always come that way. But even in the midst of our struggles, family, He lets us know, you may not know what that will be, but what you need to know is that I am. And when we can remember these two things, family, the I am who has created this wonderful universe, and the one who has made us kings and queens. Maybe, just maybe, we can step out with a little bit more confidence. A little bit more boldness. In humility, yes, in humility, because we have been created in this way to serve, not to be served. Amen? We don't show up as potentates, looking for folks to give to us and to do what it is we say because we're the boss over them. We're here as stewards and managers of God's green earth, doing the best we can to establish and extend and represent His kingdom that He wants to come and His will to be done on earth as it is in heaven, and to show forth His glory and His majesty. But no, even if it does not work out, and we don't always know that it will, we know without a shadow of a doubt, with all the other things that change, Thou changest not. Thy compassions, they fail not. I am because He is. Amen. 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 I'm going to spring something on my wife. Hopefully she has the key to the car. So if she doesn't like what I'm about to do, she might end up leaving me. And I may need some Uber or Lyft money to get back to the babe, would you sing for me? It's a very simple song. It's actually written by a friend of hers. I kind of want to claim him as a friend because I admire his craft so much, but I don't know him. But she knows him very well. Hopefully I sing in the right key. Now you can help me with the key. It's a song that reminds us